Hi, here's my PowerPoint about my community, which is Sangamon County, Illinois. The program that I teach in serves all of the high schools located in Sangamon County. To give you a little background, we're located in central Illinois, south of Chicago, south of Chicago, north of St. Louis, which brings some good things, some bad things. Sangamon County has been established since 1821, and it includes 14 villages and cities whose make up Sangamon County, and 9 school districts who participate in our program, which is Sangamon County Learning Academy as the alternative high school. There's many customs and traditions that can be found in Sangamon County. Many of those center around Abraham Lincoln. He spent most of his adult professional career before he left for the White House here in Springfield, so there's lots of those sites. President Obama made his presidential run announcement here, and I would say each of the participating districts have a very strong athletic program, so we have a strong tradition of Friday Night Lights here in Sangamon County. Nothing better than small town football on a Friday night in mid-September. And most of the communities also have festivals. Springfield hosts the Route 66 Mother Road Festival. And there's also a lake here that provides recreational activities for those residents of Sangamon County. In the census, there was of 2010, there was 199,145 residents. 51,301 which were enrolled in the county, and 21,326 of those students were in grades 1 through 8. So I think that speaks to how important high schools are going to be in the future. We have a ton of students that are going to be enrolling in our local high schools, and some of those will make their way to alternative education for sure. Sangamon County has a mix of urban and rural, and with city center of Springfield being more urban, and the villages that we serve here with SCLA, I would say would be considered more rural. 92% of the residents are high school graduates, and 32.5 have bachelor's or higher. So obviously education is important and valued in the community. The median age is 39.2, and 23% of the population is under the age of 18. So again, a large proportion of our population is enrolled in school. 48% female, or 48% male, and 52% female. Predominantly white. There is a large African American population, and that would be centered more in Springfield, not so much in the surrounding villages that serve that SCLA serves. Right now, we have no African American students or Latino, for that matter. Only 5.2% of homes have other than English spoken in it, and large proportion of the population participates in a religion. You can see the breakdown of those religions. So I think that which provide a good support, lots of community resources through these churches. Information getting out to the public is often through the television. Channel 17 does a good job of providing us access to getting our information out there. The SJR is our local daily newspaper. Capital Radio Group owns many of the radio stations, so that's a good way to reach all kinds of listeners with the same information. Each village has their own local newspaper that is good to get specific information out to each of the communities, and those are usually published on Thursdays. The SJR does have an online edition, which is great in this age of technology, that we don't have to have a paper delivered to our house, but we can still check the news from an app on our phone. And I would say, along those lines of technology, all of our homeschools that participate in SCLA have effective websites and email and texting systems. We have a website for our school, but when I looked at it yesterday, working on this, I realized that it hadn't been updated since October, so maybe not. The channel's there, it's just not being effectively used. Again, many community groups, the Boys and Girls Club, a few churches, for example, Westside Christian and Cherry Hills Baptist. The YMCA is very active. Many Rotary groups in the surrounding villages and downtown Springfield. The Elks Lodge, the Hoagland Center for Arts, and Springfield Art Council provide outreach and support to school-age children for additional instruction that districts might not be able to provide on their own. So definitely a resource in the area. We have a new governor-elect here in Illinois, Bruce Rauner, so it'll be interesting to see what changes he brings along the way. He did campaign on education reform, so we'll see. With SCLA being a grant-funded program, it's important that we keep up to date on what is happening in the governor's office and through our legislators. Bill Brady is our state senator, and Rich Brower and Raymond Poe are our representatives. Jeff Vos is our regional superintendent and my direct boss. His assistant is Shannon Fairholtz. So as a teacher, I answer to these two, and then the nine participating districts all have superintendents that sit on our board. We do not have an elected school board. They serve as our board, so they approve our handbook and disciplinary action and that type of thing for our students. These leaders have many of the same characteristics, I think. All of them are knowledgeable about education, and I would say the elected officials are visible and approachable. I've seen Rich Brower in our building talking to students, so that's always a good thing. The regional superintendent is far removed from the day-to-day business of learning at SCLA, so I think it's hard sometimes for those in his office to speak to the community about what we do because they're not very familiar with it, and certainly not with any sincerity. Though they do have strong relationships with elected officials, which is important as well. So there needs to be a balance between those two. Of the area superintendents, they're all very supportive and complimentary of what we do at SCLA, and also act as a resource when needed. So I feel that aligns with Standard 3. The economic conditions in Sangamon County are pretty good. The leading employers are the state of Illinois, obviously, and we have many medical hospitals and doctors groups. Blue Cross and Blue Shield, UIS at Springfield is the local college here. We also have a community college that is involved in the community to a great extent. The unemployment rate in Sangamon County is 5.9, but I don't think that illustrates the actual level of poverty, which is at 4.2%. And for our students, 95% of them are free and reduced lunch. So again, I think that unemployment rate, like across the nation, has showed that people have just dropped out. They aren't looking for work anymore, or they're underemployed just to make ends meet. Like I said, SCLA is a state grant-funded program. So with a new elected governor, we'll see what happens. There was $11,500,000 awarded to truancy and alternative education in the grant last year. That was to be split among the whole state, with 26% of that going to Chicago public schools. So you can see downstate is never a priority when it comes to anything in Illinois. And that there is a high need for us in alternative education to inform the public and the elected officials about the service we provide. Many don't even realize it. There were 22,092 truant students served in the school year 2013-2014. So, and I think there needs to be a better understanding of the impact truancy has on student learning, and that administrators and building leaders, superintendents, need to communicate that better through our policies and just what we're telling the public. So I would say that aligns with Standard 6. Not many social tensions in Springfield so much. I would say it's fairly segregated, with the African American population living primarily in Springfield and not really interacting with the outlying communities. With it being situated between Chicago and St. Louis, there's a significant amount of gang activity in Springfield and drug trafficking. And I'd say the residents in the communities that SCLA serves, and they don't really see the gang activity, but there definitely is high drug use in these communities. So they're interacting in that way, which can then cause tension, as drugs often do. Cliques and whatnot. That's often why, as students end up at SCLA, is because they didn't fit into those cliques at homeschool. So they're definitely present. And most of those cliques, I think, associate around socioeconomic differences, which cause the greatest tensions. The power structure, our regional superintendent is elected. He's been uncontested for his 3 terms. And as long as I've lived in Springfield, there's not been anyone running against whoever was running, and that was a Republican. So there's not a whole lot of challenge there. And that the legislator mandates that the counties offer an alternative high school environment, but have repeatedly cut funding, which seems absurd to me. And I would say our building administrator has very little control, whether that's because she chooses not to or she's been told she doesn't, is unclear. Multicultural issues. Again, my SCLA is primarily Caucasian white. There are no minorities enrolled right now. So there's little attention paid to diversity issues, which I think could be a potential public image nightmare, that what happens when we have a Muslim student enroll or a Hindu student or something along those lines, that some of our criteria, I think, could cause a problem, and that our leaders should be proactive in that regard. Measuring public opinion. Each community has a letter to the editor section in their local paper. School board meetings are an effective way to communicate individual opinions and share your concerns. I know I've taken part in my own children's who go to school here in Sangamon County. And I would say the majority of building administrators do have an open door policy, which which improves public opinion. It just looks like you're not hiding anything. And those that don't, I think they don't want to, and that this is the message that they're sending to their public. The state requires that for their report card that all district parents are to complete the 5 Essentials survey. So that is probably the best way that local districts are getting opinions back from the community. I think maybe sending one out to those who don't have kids in the district would be valuable. And for us at SCLA, I think asking the homeschool administrators and those counselors how they think we're doing would be beneficial, and something that if I were in charge, I would initiate. I would say overall, Sangamon County is a great place to live and has provided my kids a great education. And and I hope I do the same for the students that are sitting in my class starting on Tuesday again. Thanks.